point, my mother was still alive and wasn't named Mrs. Collins. And I felt so much better. Because I caught another charlatan. And my expose in Skeptical Inquirer magazine, there were other things, more spirit pictures, more dark room seance with trumpets floating in the air and spirit voices, all sounding like the same woman imitating a child, the woman imitating a man, the woman imitating a Native American, and so forth. All, you know, and so forth. And I caused a great deal of trouble among particularly young spiritualists who were sincere and thought, if they're doing these tricks, why, I don't want anything to do with this. Or if they're not, they should sue Mr. Nickell. Right. So I caused a great deal of trouble. The upshot was, as I understand, a couple of mediums were ousted from the grounds. And you make another, you know, a small game. By the way, I meant to mention that guy who did the spirit precipitations earlier, he has passed on. Let's have a moment of silence. That's long enough. Let's turn for a moment to cryptozoology. I am a cryptozoologist, skeptical one. I'm also a ufologist, skeptical one. Put the word skeptic in there because I'm not a true believer. But for years, I have talked to sane, sensible, intelligent, honest eyewitnesses who have seen something like this creature, Ogopogo, in Lake Okanagan, British Columbia. But people have also seen very similar creature in Loch Ness, at Lake Champlain, Lake Minfro-Magog, Lake Crescent, Newfoundland, and I've been to these places. And it seems unlikely that there could be such a leviathan in these waters. Many of these lakes are relatively new. They're about 10,000 years old, left over in the last ice age, whenever that was. Not very old as things go. So how is this prehistoric plesiosaur or some, how is it in a freshwater lake? How did this happen? And how does it reproduce? I mean, one animal can't reproduce itself. You need a breeding population. And if you have a breeding population, pretty soon they'll eat up all the fish, or one of them will die and its carcass will wash up. Something will happen. So there are reasons for skepticism. It's not just that we skeptics are all closed-minded idiots. Even me. But there are reasons for being skeptical. And yet, as I say, sane, sensible people have seen such a thing. And I resist in referring to skeptics laughing at such people as if, because I've seen skeptics go, oh yeah, yeah, as if people have to be drunk to see this, or they go like this, like, oh, they're a little daft. No, I'm telling you, I've met these people. I encourage you to talk to real people who have real encounters with UFOs or whatever. And they're not all crazy. Some are. Yes, it's true. There are a few out there. But by and large, a lot of sincere people. What are they seeing? And in this case, I went to Lake Okanagan with National Geographic. And National Geographic has some resources. They are a pleasure to work with. And we were able to go to Rattlesnake Island, where Ogopogo was said to live, and we searched all over it. We had a boat, a big boat with a crew and side-scanning sonar. We had a diving crew. We had a seaplane. I mean, heck, they paid my bar tab. So, I mean, you can figure out this is, and here's the side-scanning sonar. We checked very, very thoroughly a big area. And nothing that remotely could be such a creature. We sent divers down at Rattlesnake Island. Nothing. So what is it? What's happening? Here we have some impossible data, and yet there it is. And that's where I come in. This is what I do. Not to dismiss, not to make fun of. Also, though, not to just say, well, there you have it. Strange creature unknown to science. Isn't it wonderful? No, wait. What if I told you there is just such a creature? What if I told you its name is Lontra canadensis? Well, we've talked about a creature that's snake-like, serpentine. All right, but you're saying, okay, otters, but wait a minute, an otter isn't going to be 50 feet long. No, one otter isn't. But otters have this thing about playing follow the leader. And they swim like this. And 2 or 3 otters, give you a little comic version of this. And I always imagine this guy saying, next time I get to be in front. But of course it isn't so neatly arrayed, this head up and this tail up all the time. But it's this expectation. Rupert Gould called it expectant attention. You expect the ghost, you expect the lake monster that looks a certain way. When you see something that looks somewhat like it, bingo. Now, I went with the Monster Quest to Lake Crescent, Newfoundland, and Lake Crescent has supposedly a giant eel, is the local theory. But it would have to be an eel too large for science to know about. I mean, to be as big and so forth. But I went to my local aquarium, and where I know people, and they let me play with their giant eel. And there were 3 things wrong with the eel scenario. One was the sightings were during the day. No, eels are nocturnal. They were on the surface of the water. Eels are bottom feeders. And importantly, eels do not swim like this. They swim like this. They swim sideways. I watched them for long stretches, many different eels, giant moray eels and so forth. Without exception, they do not swim like this. But our friends, Lontra canadensis, or Lontra canadensis is the new name, do, or in Loch Ness, Lontra, the large European otter. And I have now done a graph of North America, plotting lake and river monsters on North America and then superposing with otter populations. It's stunning. It's stunning in its correlation. But now the cryptozoologists say, oh, there's Nickell. He's dismissing all the lake monster sightings as otters. I am doing no such thing. Let me be clear right here with you as my witnesses. I do not say that. Some of the lake monsters are beavers. Some of them are floating logs. Some of them are odd wave effects. Some are hoaxes and faked pictures, and so on. But what I'm saying is, if you have a clear sighting of clearly an animal of some kind, and people are pretty sure, that they know what they see. They saw something alive. And it's swimming like this, and it's 30 or so feet long. They don't guess that accurately as to size, but they're not off that much either. So I'm saying in those cases, the most likely hypothesis is otters, 2 or 3 otters. In fact, I now have people who have, from wildlife people and others, who have seen this illusion, been fooled by it, and then saw otters get out of the water after the monster swam to shore. Otters got out. An amazing metamorphosis. Okay, enough of that. I need to move on here a little more quickly, don't I? Because our time, we don't have time for questions. Let's turn to Roswell very quickly, and I encourage you. Everybody know about Roswell, where the UFO